To inspect and replace the air filter on your Indian Scout, follow these steps. Park the bike on a flat, level surface and ensure it is off. Next, remove the seat by grasping the front edge of the seat and pull up to disengage the front grommet from the front dart. Then, lift the seat and pull it slightly forward to disengage the rear grommet from the rear dart. Then, remove the fuel tank by depressurizing the fuel system. Warning: allow engine and exhaust to cool completely before disconnecting the fuel line or removing the tank. Protect fuel tank finish when removing, storing, and installing the tank. To depressurize, locate the fuel pump fuse. Next, pull the fuel pump fuse and crank the engine over for 5 seconds to release the fuel pressure. Then, wrap a clean shop towel around the fuel fitting at the fuel rail. After this, disconnect the fuel line from the fuel rail. There are 2 ways to disconnect the quick connect. Use a small screwdriver to pry up on the yellow lock tab, or use your fingers to pull rearward on the release tabs at the bottom of the connector and at the same time, slide the lock tab up while pulling the connector gently away from the fuel rail. Do not use anything other than fingers or the tool specified to remove the quick connection. Then, cover the fuel fittings to keep debris out. Next, remove the 2 fuel tank console fasteners and console. On motorcycles equipped with a digital display, move the antenna cover console aside. The antennas can remain attached. Then, disconnect the fuel tank vent line under the seat. After this, remove the rear tank cover. Apply a trim tool or use a small screwdriver to pry the cover outwards to release the retainer. Next, remove the 2 rear fuel tank fasteners. Now, lift the rear of the fuel tank and disconnect the fuel pump electrical connector. Then, lift the rear of the fuel tank and slide it rearward to release from the front isolators. After this, lift the fuel tank off of the motorcycle. During removal, make sure the fuel line does not get tangled or retain on any components or features that may cause damage. Do not lift the tank away from the motorcycle if the fuel line is constrained. Then, remove and retain the 4 fasteners that secure the filter to the airbox. Use care to prevent debris from entering the airbox when the filter is removed. Next, carefully pry the filter cover up and towards the rear of the motorcycle. Continue by inspecting the air filter. Do not attempt to clean the air filter. Replace a soiled or damaged filter with a new filter in the same orientation as the old filter. Make sure the air filter is fully seated into the filter cover tray. After this, reinstall the 4 fasteners and torque to specification. Then, reinstall the fuel tank by securing the handlebars in the straight ahead position. Next, apply soapy water or rubber lubricant on the front tank isolators and lower the fuel tank onto the isolators. While supporting the rear of the fuel tank, connect the fuel pump electrical connector. Then, route the fuel line inward of the frame tube and connect it to the fuel rail. Verify the fuel line is properly seated and locked into place by listening for an audible click and watching the locking tab drop automatically when pressing into place. Pull gently on the quick connector once seated to make sure a proper connection has been made. Also, verify the fuel line is properly connected by gently pulling on the connection. Then, install the rear fuel tank fasteners and torque to specification. Next, reinstall the fuel pump relay fuse and prime the fuel system to ensure proper installation without fuel leaks. To do this, turn the ignition key to the on position or power on the motorcycle by pushing the power switch. Then, move the engine stop run start switch to the run position. Allow the fuel pump to run until it stops, about 2 seconds. Next, move the engine stop run start switch to the stop position. Then, turn the ignition key to the off position or power off the motorcycle by pushing the power switch. Repeat this process 2 to 6 times. After this, start the motorcycle and inspect and verify no leaks are present. On models equipped with a digital display, move the antenna console, with antennas attached, back into the position on the tank. Then, install the rear tank cover and make sure any wires under the cover are not pinched. Next, install the tank console and torque to specification. Now, connect the fuel tank vent line to the chassis vent line. Make sure the connection is fully made and the clamp is properly placed. Secure the vent line into the rear tank cover. Next, reinstall the seat. Make sure the seat base engages the rear dart, then press down firmly on the front edge of the seat to engage the front dart to the grommet. For more information, see your authorized Indian motorcycle dealer or visit indianmotorcycle.com.